I had holes in my shoes. I would take my sock and pull it down to my ankle and then wrap it underneath and put cardboard in the shoe to keep my feet from touching the street. That was even difficult because, you know, you go outside and play. There's no indoor game. So you're outside all the time. So it's still that wears out. Your feet still get messed up on the bottom and rough and hard and calluses. My toes were always damaged. My toenail beds were always damaged because I'm wearing shoes that were always 2 sizes too small. I was growing like a weed, even though I was malnourished, eating Cairo syrup and toast every day, most of the time, or bologna sandwiches or whatever else that we could muster up, whatever people would donate to us. I was still growing like crazy. I think I was wearing a size 12 in junior high school shoe, but I was growing like weeds. And so it was tough. And my mother couldn't afford shoes. I remember the last pair of shoes that my mother ever bought me. This leads into the second part of the story that I was going into earlier. We didn't have any money and school was starting. She took me to Zayre's, which was like a lower level than Kmart at the time. I got 2 shirts and 2 pair of pants. Those 2 shirts and 2 pair of pants, so I had to wear those for years. The crotch was ripped open because I was growing so fast. The crotch ripped. But she took me to Kmart to get some sneakers. And the only size that they had for me, for my foot, was a pair of, only size 12s they had was a pair of McGregor's. So, but these McGregor's were actual football cleats with the rubber knobs on the bottom. So the last pair of shoes my parents ever bought me in my life were a pair of rubber football cleats for $5 from Kmart. I had to wear football cleats to school as my main pair of shoes. I had to wear football cleats to basketball practice. I had to wear football cleats to track. I had to wear football cleats everywhere. Even when I was just going to the grocery store with my mom or walking around the neighborhood to play outside, I had to wear football cleats. My pants, because the kids would pick on me so much, I came up with a great idea. I would dye my pants. I would bleach them first at night, and then I would dye them with rich dye. It was only like 59 or 69 cents for a packet of dye from the grocery store, and I could change the color of my pants. So I would alternate between black and blue and, different colors, orange, like a burnt orange color. Since I would mix the dye together to get a different kind of a weird color. And I would dye my pants and bleach them and dye my pants and bleach them so that kids thought I had more than 2 pair of pants. And I only had one shirt that had a LaCroix Sportif icon on it, a logo on it, a little alligator. And so what I did was I would unstitch that alligator and re-stitch it onto every other shirt that I had to keep them from picking on me, because the bully game back then in that school was brutal. I mean, brutal. You're talking about you can get kicked to sleep if they didn't like the way you looked, if they didn't like what you were wearing. And so in my mind, instead of making myself a victim and falling into that victim mentality and trying to figure out and being afraid all day what was going to happen to me and who was going to push me down or kick me or whatever, I said, okay, I'm going to play in the Matrix. I'm going to play this game. Another manifestation. I manifested peace in my own life in school, which gave me the space in my mind and my body to learn. Because if you're afraid and are worried about yourself all day and you're self-conscious all day long, how in the hell are you going to focus on studying and learning? I knew that I had to have the knowledge to get out of the neighborhood. I knew I had to have the wisdom to move on. So what did I do? I found a way to fit in so I can have the space to gain the wisdom and the knowledge I needed, the little intricacies that I needed to get out of the situation. I knew that it was vital that I wasn't just going to be walking around the streets all day, skipping classes and things like that and hanging out and doing drugs and getting in trouble. That wasn't going to get me out of my situation. That wasn't going to get me out of that city. The only thing that was going to get me out of there was paying attention, learning, and figuring out how to get to the next level. So for me, you know what I'm saying, being able to just maneuver through that matrix, that fashion matrix. Okay, y'all, this is how y'all want to play? All right, no problem. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to start changing my clothes up. I only have 2 pair, but you won't even know I have 2 pair of pants. You'll think I have 7, 8 pair of pants. I wore really long shirts that came way past down the crotch, so you couldn't see the ripped open crotch. And it worked. I was able to do something else pretty cool. I was able to break dance. Back then, that was pretty huge. So when some kids found out that I can break dance and I started break dancing, then I became even more cool. Sometimes you have to learn how to fit into the matrix and play the matrix game so that you can move ahead in other areas of your life. It's all about, it's really like a Jedi mind trick. You have to understand how to maneuver with neuroscience, applied neuroscience through this matrix, and get people and put people in positions where you want them, not have them move and put you where they want you. And so that's the game I played. When I turned 12,
by Compendium of the Emerald Tablets by Billy Carson.